Hello, hello, hello. And thank you for tuning in. Whew, it's Thursday. A lot of things going on. It's freezing here in Florida. It was like 60, like our high today was like 63. That's really cold for me. Um, went to Miami, went to West Palm Beach. Now I'm back and I'm hungry. I had like a fruit and I had some nuts, but I'm hungry. I need food. So I am going to cook a chicken and I'm going to make it's like a chicken milanesa, but I don't fully um bread it, and I completed this recipe from two people. The first person that I learned the recipe from on how to bake it instead of frying the milanesa is from this lady named Eugenia, and I'll tell you about Eugenia as I prepare the dish. She's in heaven now. And then the other part of the recipe, I learned it from Nicole, which was the wife of she was the owner. Her and her husband were the owners of the Mexican restaurant that I worked at when I was a waitress. When I started real estate, um, I actually transitioned into being a waitress at this restaurant because I was broke. And before I started real estate, I had started up a small business. I left my corporate job and started a small business. And there was a war. The gallon of milk was like $5. Nobody was buying anything. And so I ended up like in this huge debt. Like I had so much debt, bad credit. And I started real estate. And in the meantime, when I started real estate, I had three jobs. I worked as a waitress in the evenings and the weekends. I worked for a attorney-owned title company during the day, like 9 to 5, and I worked at a golf course as a cart girl. Um, any time I could, any days I had off, and cold days and weekends and holidays, and that's how I got out of the hole. That's how I moved myself forward. And it was a big struggle during that time in my life, with a lot financially and emotionally, and uh, just it was a lot. Another story for that. Today I'm going to tell you about Eugenia and the chicken, and I merged the two recipes from Eugenia and Nicole. So I'll show you what I need. Uh, we need for this recipe chicken. This is mushrooms. I'm gonna put us the side for it is mushrooms. It has nothing to do with the recipe. I'm gonna put these aside for now. You need seasoning, and this seasoning has garlic, lime, pepper, salt. So that's all I will need. Breadcrumbs and olive oil. Okay. So traditionally, when you make a milanesa, right? You gotta beat it through the egg, put it through the flour, and then fry it. But the way Eugenia did all those steps, she did all those steps with the egg, but she didn't fry it. She put it in the oven. She would add olive oil, and she would put it in the oven and fry it in the oven. Now Nicole, the lady that owned the restaurant, she would bread it, season, like crust it, and I've never had it as good as Nicole or as good as Eugenia. You know, they both had different ways of doing the milanesa, but my take on it, it's pretty darn good if I say so myself. And it's pretty yummy. So this is too much chicken for the way I'm eating. So I'm just going to use one. And I'll show you guys how, this is a big chicken breast, it's big. So I'll show you guys what I do to get my milanesa going. I'm so hungry, and maybe that's why I sound like, I'll show you guys how to get my milanesa going, because I'm so hungry. What I'm going to do though, I brought my little oven here because I don't want to use the big oven. So I am going to heat it up to 450, and I am going to put it to bake. So I'm gonna heat it up for like 10 minutes. It'll take me about 10 minutes to get it ready. So I have a glove on one hand, using the knife here, the glove here. And a trick, when you're cutting meat or greasy stuff, put a little saran wrap on, or a napkin if you like, but the napkin would soak through, but the saran wrap is great on your board, so that you can cut and use it, and then you just pick it up, and then you can use your board for, you know, for veggies, for anything else that you're using for that meal. So I'm going to open the chicken like this, and I'm going to make a huge piece, but maybe I should make 2 pieces. I don't like this part when it has this ligament skin action. I don't like that. I don't like eating it. I don't like seeing it. I just don't like it. Okay, so you can actually get 4 pieces out of this chicken if you want to make them very thin, but that means more bread, and I'm not trying to get so carby. So I will leave it like this, and if you don't have one of these, you can use a bottle. You can use a glass bottle, and you can pound it with a bottle, but I do have one of these, so I'm going to open it. And what this does is, like, this makes your chicken bigger, thinner, and it'll be better for your milanesa if your chicken is thinner. So I'll tell you about Eugenia. Eugenia is a wonderful lady. I met her when she listed her house. She found her husband dead. Okay, he died in his sleep. She was an older lady. She had lived with her husband her whole life, you know, and she found him dead. And she had a very large house for an older single lady. She had 3 kids, and I had the opportunity to meet 2 of her kids. But she had so many stories to share, and her husband had tried to leave her when they were younger. They lived in California, and he tried to leave her for this woman that she referred to the woman as La Bruja, the witch. And she was a Christian lady. She lived believing in Jesus and loving Jesus, but she was Ukrainian, so she had this rough exterior, but she was a sturdy, you know, very like stern, and spoke like very tough. So, she was just a nice lady, and she would tell me the stories about, like when her husband tried to leave her, and she would make these amazing chicken wings in the oven also. And her oldest son that lived out of state, in another far away on the West Coast, when he would come visit her, she would be like, oh, she would tell me, I'm going to make chicken wings because he's coming, and he loves that. And she showed me how to make the chicken wings also. She was such a good cook. And she had a younger son that was a very nice son. And I identify with him a lot because he didn't like his siblings. And that's not why I identify with him a lot. It's just because he was so obsessed with his mom. And so I was like, I identify with him because of that. But there was a whole plot and twist, behind the whole thing. The oldest son I met when she first wanted to list the house, and he came down to meet me and to talk about, what we were going to price the house for, and blah, 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 blah. And nice guy, handsome guy too. And then I met the other son later on, and he wasn't so handsome. He was like small, shorty. And he was probably handsome. Shorties are not what I consider handsome, but I'm sure he was handsome to his wife, So yeah, he was handsome. So he had like this love, and then this love and hate relationship to the siblings. And he had a wife, and the wife didn't like me because she would never be polite to me or greet me, but his mom totally disliked the wife. Like, she would just like, so I became friends with her. We sold her house, and I found her another beautiful little house. I would call her house La Casita de Muñecas. And she would invite me to eat, and I would invite her to eat, and I would always go visit her because she was so lonely, And through time, as I learned more about her and I saw the dynamics, her son from California was pretty distant, and I guess he didn't want to deal with the youngest son that was so controlling, and I identify with the youngest son because I was like, oh, that's how I am with my mom. I just want my mom for me, and I don't want to share my parents. But with him was just, I didn't realize it until the end how everything went down. So sold that house, and then she bought another beautiful little house. And then one day she would get dialysis, and I'm telling you, she was such a feisty lady. Like, she ran over this Mexican on Congress from her dialysis on Congress Street Ave, and then she went home, and the cops came to knock. She called me. She's like, I hit the Mexican. And I said, oh my God, did you wait for the cops? And she's like, no, I didn't wait for the cops. I got out of the car and he got up. And then he was like, what's your insurance? And I was like, yo no te voy a dar nada. And she was Ukrainian that had migrated to Argentina in her youth. So she spoke Spanish, like with an Argentinian accent. It was hilarious. And she was like, yo no te voy a dar nada to the guy. I'm not giving you jack. So the cops came to her house, right? And the cops were like, hey, you ran this guy over. And and they looked at her car. Of course she ran the guy over. The car had the marks of the bicycle, and she was pissed that, that her car got all dented. She was funny. And I was like, oh my gosh. So because of that, from there, the younger son um started moving the wheels, and somehow she was convinced that she should buy a condo by the water. So we went hunting for condos and condos and condos. She was selling this little house, and she would tell me everything, like she would just tell me all the nonsense of the older son and the younger son and the strange daughter that was like a leader at the church, and the daughter's husband was like this guy that had guns, and the younger brother hated the daughter's husband, and so did she. And it was like a novella. It was like a Ukrainian Argentinian novella. It was crazy. But she would tell me everything, and I would listen to her, and I just had this fondness for her because she was so alone. Even though she had her kids, she was so alone. So then the younger kid was like, when she went to the West Coast to visit him, he made her spend all this money to create a mother-in-law room, and she built this room, and the room really was just to enhance his house, and blah 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 blah. So none of my business. She didn't tell me that she spent this money. So then I told her, hey, did you build a room in California? She's like, yeah. I wanted to have a nice room for when I visit my son. So yeah, I did spend the money to build a room, and Oh, Yukis, stop. I'm doing a video. Stop it. So, she was like, yeah, I did that. So the younger son was so upset. And then she was like, when I die, I want everything to be equally parted to my 3 children. And I was like, well, that's great. None of my business. That's great. Like, do you have a paperwork? She's like, no. You think I should do paperwork? I said, yeah, because then they're going to probate, blah, 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 blah. So somehow she bought this little condo. I mean, it was the cutest condo too. It was the cutest. It was a 55 over community off of Indian Town, by the beach, across from the beach. It's cute. It wasn't for her, but the son really was pushing for this, the youngest son. And somehow she's like, yeah, I'm gonna get the paperwork done so everything's according to plan for all of my 3 children. Because she had a strange relationship with the daughter because of the daughter's husband. So it was crazy. So the son took her to get paperwork at the attorney, the youngest son. And somehow everything got under his name. Even when we closed on the property, I remember like he was added to the title, to the deed, right of survivorship. Like the guy was super slick, super, super slick. And the oldest son was always in contact with me, asking me stuff about the mom, but not so much financially, but the youngest son was all about the financials, So here, I'm talking a lot and I'm not showing you guys. So it's big now, right? So it's big. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to add the oil, because I'm not using egg, right? So I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil on this side. And you go like that. Okay. And you season it really good. Not so much. Don't season it too much unless you like salty seasoning stuff. Um, but if you don't like salty stuff, don't season it so much. Crap. Okay, this here is oh god, cilantro that I had that I didn't want it to go bad, so I chopped it, and added a little bit of olive oil, so it stays beautiful, it stays green, and it stays fresh if you chop it and put it in a container. So people add parsley to this, but I'm not Italian, so I add cilantro, honey, because I'm not Italian. So everything changed to his name, to the son's name, and then she kind of regretted that, and she was like, I don't know what to do, how do I fix it, and it was too late, you know. The son had gotten like irrevocable stuff, all kinds of stuff was going on. And I'm just putting a little bit of the breadcrumbs. The thicker breadcrumbs are better, but you know, I'm not trying to buy other stuff. I already have these breadcrumbs, so that's what I'm using. These are Publix seasoned ones, but they're not really seasoned, in all honesty. I'm gonna start heating up my little oven. So, you know, the son switched everything over. So then she passed away. She went into the hospital. I never went to see her at the hospital. I felt that I was her good friend when she was alive. And I didn't really want to be part of the shenanigans with the son, you know. So I did not go see her at the hospital. But from what the son told me, that, you know, she was so happy to see his wife that she hated, because the wife was mean to her and wanted to put her in a mobile home park. It was crazy. Yeah, because when the wife and the son didn't want her to spend her money. They wanted her to like have the money in the bank and go to a mobile home, and she was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. And she had these granddaughters that she loved a lot. The granddaughters that were she loved all her grandchildren, but these granddaughters she liked a lot, you know. So you know, so it was like you know, everything went into their name, and I never went to see her at the hospital. And then she passed away, and they invited me to the funeral. And I don't like to go to funerals. I don't like funerals. If I'm good to you while you're alive, I don't want to go to funerals. I'll go to funerals for my loved ones. But I don't know. I don't like funerals. Oh my gosh. I'm about to burn the house down, honey. What is going on here? So, okay, so, you know, now it's seasoned, right? And it's breaded. So, I am going to put it in this little oven. Okay? And you don't want the bread to get stuck. So just do a little bit of oil in there. That's like a little drop. And this is hot. So just do a little bit of oil and move it around in there, right? And so that the bread doesn't get stuck. This is already heated, so with just a little bit of oil, it spreads really well all over it. And then, you know, when I hear my videos back, and I'm like and I all the time. I'm trying to learn not to and then just put it in there, right? See, let me grab another. Let me take this glove off. Done with the glove. Not touching the chicken anymore. And I want to show you guys what it looks like before it goes into the oven. So get it in there. I'm going to put it in there for 15 minutes at 450, and it's baking. You see what I mean? Like, you pick this up and then your board is now contaminated. So I like that about the boards. You put everything in there, everything there. Okay, great. So next thing I'm going to make is these mushrooms. So the son called me, right? And he was like, "Hey Sue, are you coming to the funeral?" And you know what? I was just saying stuff about, I was in communication with the older brother, and the older brother had figured out the financial situation, but I was pretending I didn't know anything because, you know, that's none of my business. It's none of my business. What he did, and the attorney and all of that. And she said one thing and then did another thing in the end. So it was very iffy, goofy. And she was old and emotional, and you know, she was manipulated easily. So I said something like, "I spoke to your brother, or your brother said blah 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 blah," and the little guy, he got so upset. Like, he was just like, he didn't like me anymore after that. He didn't like me anymore because I was talking to the brother. But the brother was very nice. And like, he never talked about his mom's money. But the young guy and the wife, oh my God, were they like money, like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So this lady, Eugenia, showed me this recipe. I loved her a lot, and she was so funny, and I have nothing but like great memories of her. And you know, until the end, when her younger son got involved in her life a lot, it was very uncomfortable. But you know, she's in heaven. She was a believer, so I know she's doing well. I love these little mushrooms. See? So you don't want to do much with it. You don't want the oil to be too hot because you want to brown them slowly. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing. And I'm just going to make enough for what I'm eating for my meal. I'm going to make them all. I'll come up with something else to cook with those mushrooms. So just get them in there. So, you know, just a little bit of olive oil. You do pepper. and a tiny, 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 tiny bit of salt. Oops, what was that? So just a little bit of salt. And I'll put the heater on medium and let that cook. So, you know, I love making these things and these recipes that throughout time I've learned from different people. I love it. And it's helping me. It's helping me eat better, be consistent with, you know, what I'm consuming. I want to meal prep. I would love to meal prep, but I'm a gourmet snob. I gotta have like fresh food, real food, and it's hard to prep because with prep you have to kind of eat the same thing over and over. And I can eat the same thing over and over, but not consecutively. And you know, just to cook for me, or sometimes for just for two, it's not worth all of that meal prep and spending, you know. And when I meal prep, sometimes I throw the food away because it goes bad. Okay, so let me show you what's going on with the mushrooms. So that's what you want. You're looking for them to brown like that. To get brown and crispy. It's yum, yum, yum time. I'm telling you. I'm starving. I am starving. Let's see how the chicken is doing. Let's check on the chicken. Yeah, it's coming along. Coming along. Looking good. So, anyhow. And you know, the other lady that made the chicken, she used to work like for an Italian restaurant, and I guess it's some kind of Italian meal. The way she would bread the chicken with olive oil and grill it. And she was a great cook, like a really great cook. But she was mean. She was mean. Her husband was the kindest person to me and to the staff always. But she was mean. I'm sure she had her reasons. I don't know what her reasons were. I was always kind to her and respectful, but she was like, she was just not happy with her life, I'm assuming. She would have her moments, but she was just mean. But she could cook. I mean, that lady could cook. Like anything that she cooked was amazing. And she sold a restaurant, and then some people bought it, and she left like some other people cooking there. Not even close, because she knew her stuff as far as cooking went. So I loved eating with her chicken. I'm so hungry. Okay, so at the end, once this is cooked, it's been in there for about 7 minutes. I'm going to flip it over because it's halfway through. So, show you guys. I'll show you guys. God, I can't wait. I can't wait. So the chicken is already cooked. Now you just want the, you know, you just want the bread to get toasty and yummy. And my mushrooms are actually ready too. Let me show you. Crispy, brown, peppery, olive oil. That's it. You know, I'm on this tersepatide, and it doesn't eat up your fat. You know, when you go to these places, they try to con you like, oh, your fat's gonna melt. No, honey, your muscles melting. Okay, your muscles melting if you don't eat protein. And you're gonna get saggy skin if you don't put the right fats into your body. So olive oil is my one thing that I do, and my kefir, and my chicken, and shrimp, and steak, and nuts. Eat, because eating will make the journey for longevity, because that's what you're looking for. You know, you're looking to lose for longevity. That's what I'm looking for. And so I don't want a quick fix, a quick gimmick. I'm doing weights. I'm busting wide open with the weights, and I'm eating. So that's going to get me to my desired goal. So now my chicken has been in there for about 10 minutes, and the chicken is sizzling. I hear it sizzling. So I'm going to flip the dial to the broil so that I can get it, you know, crunchy. Because now the chicken is cooked. I won't have, you know, any problem of eating raw chicken. Now I just have to make it golden. See? So I am going to change the dial to broil. Tell me something. Are you getting through the end of my videos? Am I doing a good job? Am I sharing enough? Am I sharing too much? And the videos have to be long, honey, because long is good. Yeah, I have that part of me. If you know me, let me tell you. Anyhow, I can't wait to eat this food. I'm gonna pause it because I'm tired, as you can see, and I'm hungry, and it's not computing up here right now. So I'm gonna pause it, and when I'm done and it's served on a plate, I'll share with you guys. So went on broil, 2.5 minutes on one side, 2.5 minutes on the other side, and I took it out. And this is the finished product. It's so yummy. I can't wait to eat this. I'm very hungry. Can't wait to eat it. So I hope you guys like my take on milanesa. And again, I'm asking for, what am I asking for? To follow, to like, to share, to comment, and subscribe. Okay? Thank you for watching. Bye!